We are going all Ford versus Ferrari. We're going to be putting two of the Shmeemobiles head-to-head in a drag race here at Santa Pod. It's the home of UK drag racing, so we've brought out two of the cars from the collection. On the one side, we have the hybrid V6 Ferrari. On the other side, the ultimate 6th gen Ford Mustang. Both factory fresh, out of the box, unmodified, and it's time to see how they stack up against one another. The 296 GTS is a twin-turbo V6 hybrid rear-driven 8-speed dual clutch. The GT500 is the 5.2-litre supercharged V8, also rear-driven, also dual clutch, the 7-speed. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when we go up against one another here at Santa Pod. Let's do this. Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel where it's Ford versus Ferrari. We're going to kick off talking about the two cars, then head out and give a quick little run in each. If you'd like to go straight to the drag race, of course, we have the chapters down below. You can find them in the timeline to see what comes out on top. But if you'd like to find out a little bit more about these, let's start with the GT500. This is, of course, the Shmeemobile that I've owned for about 3.5 years since I bought it in the United States. I have actually taken it on the drag strip a couple of times before, out in Florida, also as well in Texas. So this is the GT500. Mine is the carbon fiber track pack. That means you've got carbon wheels, a carbon wing, the rear seat delete. Technically, the wing is actually worse for the drag strip. You would want to have the regular car, but of course, for what we're doing today, which is a bit of real world, what happens if you go head to head with your cars, with a friend, this is the experience. I'm going to show you what we've got up front because this is quite the power plant. In the GT500 is a 5.2-litre supercharged V8, the Predator motor. You have to pull the lever inside, then you have to press the pushers on the front, and then once you figured that out, you've then got a lever in here as well to lift it up with an enormous supercharger on the top, 760 horsepower in a Mustang. It's mind-boggling. The 7-speed DCT does a wonderful job of sending that power to the rear wheels, but of course there's not much weight at the back, and that's what's quite interesting when you do a drag. What happens? Obviously it has a drag strip mode, so it can soften the suspension, and we're going to be playing a little bit more with that later on. It's a car that fundamentally is very similar to the regular GT or the 2.3-litre EcoBoost of the 6th gen. Of course, we now have the 7th gen, of which I have the Dark Horse out in the US. This being Grab a Lime is very bright, very in your face, but let's go get it started. Let's get it out, go for a few test runs to get the launch control set up, show you how it works, and get ready for what's going to happen next with the 296. To get this started, there is a whole lot of theatre. It is America at its finest. Step on in though to the GT500. So keyless, of course, key in pocket, press the button right here. Nice little soundtrack from that. So this has a ton of different modes. I mean, firstly, you can flip this up and go to, as you can see here on the screen, into my mode, which I have set up for the road driving, so softer suspension, but track exhaust. Sounds nuts. Or you can continue going through the different driving modes with this, and you've then got sport, track, and you've got drag strip, which softens the suspension and preps everything to give you the fastest possible pull away, and that is what we are about to go and test. Let's head down towards the end of the drag strip then. So, GT500, a car that I've had some track outings with, a car that I've had some drag races with, and a car that I've had a whole lot of fun with all across America. It's been to the Nürburgring in Germany, it's done a ton of stuff, and as Mustangs go, this thing is stratospherically fast. It's a lot of power. Of course, it's a bit heavier than the Ferrari. This comes in at just under 1,800 kilos versus the Ferrari about 150 kilos less than that. But there's also a bit more to it because the software is made for this. Because America, the software is configured to be good to go. And I need to spend a little bit of time because you have these launch modes. I'm going to do a bit of an acceleration, get the lay of the land, figure out what's going on before we're really and truly going for it. But basically you have a bunch of different settings like the RPMs, for example, so that it doesn't get bogged down when you start, because that's the curse that certainly hit me with some of my cars before. But I have actually been here to Santa Pod recently for an event hosted by the team here and Petrol Hedonism, Chiro and the team, to experience some fun and get a feel for the place. But today it is about actually demonstrating what these things can do, and I suggest checking out the Santa Pod website to see the different events that they run here as well. So in a moment we're going to pull up and kind of give this a go, see what happens. Now equipped, of course, with a helmet, we will pull up to the line. This is, of course, just myself, a few test runs. So we've got the whole place to ourselves, which is fairly incredible, to be completely honest. But I'm not going to do a full launch. I'm just going to learn the staging process, make sure I know exactly what I'm doing. Wait until I get given the go-ahead to pull forwards. We roll forward. You get the first pre-stage light coming up in a moment. There we go. Then the stage light. Then the way we're going to do it is give the thumbs up and watch the tree. So this is not going to be a full launch, but it goes green. Away we go. Just get a feel for it for the moment. Because even this, it's 100 miles an hour on a gentle run, that. Okay, right. I know what's going on. I think I know what's going on. The reality is a little bit different because the lights go out so quickly, it's kind of hard to gauge exactly what's happening. Back around we go. This time, we are going to do a launch control. So everything should basically be set up for that already. We roll on up and we will get ourselves staged. Wait for it, wait for it. Pre-staged and staged. Then we'll give the thumbs up. Go. Get the grip. Oh my days, when the supercharger gets going, we get to about 130 odd miles an hour, just shy. It's hard to get the grip though. We move then from American muscle to Italian supercar, the 296 GTS. And of course, these are very different propositions, right? We've got more power, less weight, mid-engined, and it's about 3 or 4 times the price tag. This being the GTS is of course the Spider, which adds weight over the GTB, the coupe. It's still, well, Ferrari quote dry weights, 1,540 kilos, wet weight at about 100, hence 150 less than the GT500. But I want to talk about the engine for a moment, which is of course back here. Pop open this window, you've got this large tinted glass area at the back. And inside is a 3-litre twin turbocharged V6, which combined with a single electric motor and a 7.2 kilowatt hour battery pack gives you 830 horsepower. 830 horsepower in Ferrari's entry-level supercar. That's one of the crazy things with it. This is a car that I've done somewhere approaching 2,000 miles with now, so it's still a fairly new car. I've owned it for about a year since collecting it from HRO, and it's a car that wears the Potenza Sport tyres, so not the race tyres, which would be the equivalent of the Sport Cup 2s that we have on the GT500, but obviously Ferraris, right? It's about track driving, it's about performance, it's about enjoying the car. Now, you can opt for the Assetto Fiorano, the Fiorano package, which actually gives you the upgraded Multimatic dampers, which would be a stiffer setup. For drag racing, you don't want the stiffer suspension, so this is actually the better configuration for this kind of thing, as opposed to having the firmer setup, which would also do away with the lift system, which obviously for normal driving on the road, you want to protect the lovely carbon fiber that you have down here. However, what's quite remarkable with it is that this is actually a fairly easy car to drive. It's a fairly easy car to use a whole lot of power. So I suppose on that, I should probably hop in, go do some test runs and see what it's like. Let's do it with the 296 GTS. Exactly as before then, let's swing in here, right-hand drive this time around, and the interior of a Ferrari is a very special place to be. Even better when you're right here at the start line at Santa Pod. So, steering wheel controls. We are now on. Of course, we're not going to be driving in electric. We will be pressing this button. Qualifying, it gives you maximum power. And obviously we've got the digital display in front of us with all the screens and settings. We will need to warm it up just a touch. We do have a full battery. By driving it in qualifying mode in advance, we've made sure that that's fully topped up, ready and raring to go. Oh yeah, it revs up so nicely. This Piccolo V12, the little V6 as they actually call it. So let's gear up and get ready to go do some runs in the 296. It's safe to say that there is slightly less space inside here, but a very easy car to operate and to use. And with qualifying mode, you get the full 830 horsepower. If you're in performance mode, you lose a little bit. With the SF90, Ferrari actually gave the statistics. With this, I don't think I've ever seen them to this point as to exactly how much power you have in the different driving modes. But we're going to give this a go. Similar process. First run will be a case of easing into it, just having a go, seeing where we end up, and getting ready for some future runs. So we can yeah, do the same thing here. Get staged. There we go. So we are now staged. I'm not going to launch control at the first go. Watch the tree. It happens so quickly. Okay, so traction control was fully lit up there. This is obviously ballistically fast. Not even full throttle, and it's so quick. It's going to be interesting to see how these actually stack up to one another. We need to go around and do a launch control. But I can tell you this thing's quick. I mean, for Ferrari's baby supercar, I'm sorry to say that again, kind of like the old Dino, yeah, it's no baby when it comes to this kind of thing. No baby in the slightest. So let's loop back to the start line and go launch it. I'm also this time going to flick it up into race mode. So we're in race, pulling up towards the start, and we will use launch control. So let me get it staged. Pre-staged and then staged. This is actually really challenging. There's a lot more technicality to this than you might realize. I'm gonna give the thumbs up. Go into launch mode. Are we in launch mode? No, not yet. This one was throwing me off, but we've worked it out now. So when we get to the line, there we go. I have to be in manual and then launch. Here we go. Go. Oh my days. And when that hooks up, wow! It's actually not as much faster than the GT500 than I might have thought. But yeah, when that hooked up, that was away. That was absolutely like, let's go. I think that's probably the first launch control I've done in here. So interestingly, you have to put it in manual, but then it's still in auto. But you have to have done manual before you do launch to get the full acceleration. So yeah, I have a pretty good idea now of how this works and what this does. This is easier than the GT500 to launch once you know how to do it. And that's the trick with so many of these cars. So very shortly, we can put them next to each other. That's gonna be fun to see. Let's get it ready. It's about to be time, and because you're probably wondering, driving the Ferrari right now, Brad has the honor.
Somehow, what are we doing?
He basically turned up and been put at the wheel of an 800 plus horsepower car, which I think we know is probably going to win. The question is by how much it's going to win.
Yes, is there driver mod? Maybe?
Is there a driver mod?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
No, this is easy. The Ferrari is actually easier to launch. So what we've now got is the tree, the lights set up with the sportsman style. So we'll get a 1, 2, 3 green. So it's a little bit easier, especially with the GT500. But here we are, sans pod with these two. Should we go line up?
May the best man win.
May the best car win.
Okay,
I think we're going to win. Let's do it, let's go. Here we go then, Brad. We're pulling up to the line. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be extremely fun. Yeah, this car is crazy fast. It's going to be very, very interesting.
No pressure or anything then as we get ready to stage before we give the thumbs ups. So we each get ourselves into position and then wait for the moment to go.
So, manual, launch control, thumbs up.
It's time then. Here we go. Wait for it. Go! Oh, he's away. I span. He is absolutely away.
Oh my goodness.
The difference between a fast muscle car and a supercar is frankly absurd. Frankly, absolutely insane.
Yeah, I looked in my mirror briefly at whatever speed I was doing and you were nowhere to be seen. That is ridiculous.
I feel like you just unlocked some kind of cheat code and it was like, away we go, done, that's it, see you later.
It's actually incredibly scary how easy this is to do. Put it into manual, hit launch control, mash the throttle, hold the brake and lift off, and it just takes off like a rocket ship.
I'm going to work out, or I'm going to have to work out, how either I can jump the start a bit or I can stop you going so quickly.
So basically you want to cheat your way to a victory in the Mustang, I see.
I think it's the only way I've got a chance. I feel like next time I need to jump by like 2 seconds. Before we go for this run, I'm going to make the most of what this car can do. And we have track apps, then we have, up at the very top, line lock. Press and hold, OK, to initialize line lock. Engage brake firmly, press OK to begin, and then make some smoke.
I think that's Tim's way of getting some more heat in the tyres. That's a big smoky burnout. So was that your way of getting some more heat in the tyres? To see if you can win by doing a line lock?
We'll see if it has any impact. Right, let's get staged, let's get these lined up, and then let's do race 2. Okay, we're both staged. It's going to be time. Go! Oh! We both had a little stick. He's away. Closer though, closer. Much closer. Heating up those tyres, hey? Well, it looks like it helped significantly. Heating up those rear tyres made this thing go off the line much faster.
So, not to put excuses out, it didn't shift automatically, so I had to upshift when I hit the limiter, so that was interesting. But once it then picked up properly and started going, it just absolutely flies through the gears.
It was funny because when you were clearly bouncing off the limiter for a brief second, I was like, oh, I'm catching him. I'm catching up a bit. And then, yeah, I saw it hook and, yeah, no, my dreams were shattered. It was game over. We roll up then for race 3. This is it. I say this is it. You've won 2 out of 2. So I'm just going to pretend this is it and see what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of already game over, but for the fun of it, we might as well go one more time.
All right, here we are. Okay, we are basically staged. Oh, you're too far forwards. There we go. All right, let's do this. So I might have to jump this one slightly. Give the thumbs up. Okay, come on. Go! Well, we're slightly away. I actually didn't jump it. But look at that, it hooks up and it's gone. My reaction time was sweet, 0.088. My reaction time was really, really good then, but yeah, the 296 is too fast for this old muscle monster.
Yeah, it does sound good off of the line, but then obviously once this thing picks up, it just absolutely disappears.
Not a chance, but I tell you what, having these two out together has been really pretty cool. To just be on the road with the 296 and GT500, to be here at Santa Pod as well, hey? Absolutely awesome fun. Let's head back to the start and take in the results. We've got some numbers on the printouts here, and I'm gonna tell you what we've got, as we've got flies all over the place. The fastest I did in this, actually were 2 times, almost identical, of 11.65, which is quick, but not as quick as I perhaps thought it might be.
Or this.
Or that. The fastest that went is really fast, to be honest. 10.29 was the quickest. You managed on the first race a 10.32, which is almost exactly on what I had done before. Yeah, so 1.3 seconds faster down a quarter mile in the 296.
But then, like we say, when you compare the weights, the power, it kind of makes sense.
It does kind of make sense, and just the whole setup, right? Mid-engine helps because you've got the weight on the back, on the wheels. In this, having no weight on the back makes it really hard to get that like full-on fastest possible launch. I tell you what though, smoking up the tyres was a good bit of fun beforehand. Those got hot and sticky, and we've got stones and all sorts literally stuck to them. Did it look good from outside? It
looked good from in here.
Yeah.
I was just enjoying, I was talking and saying, you know, this is you trying to find a bit more grip.
Yeah, a little bit more. We've still
However,
got a decent amount of tread, you know, because it hasn't done many miles since I put those tyres on.
I think we can conclude though that regardless of the times, that was a whole lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. I want to say a huge thank you to the team here at Santa Pod and to Carl Cox and his team who have been running their drag car up here today as well. Really, really cool. Amazing to see. Thunderous to hear, I've got to add on that as well.
Ridiculous.
And they kindly made it possible for us to slot in between some of the runs. Obviously, there are a ton of different events that take place right here as well. We've been up for an event. There's a whole load more, so do check out on the website for the schedule and everything. I'll pop the information down below. Do you think we've got to come back?
Oh, 100%.
Do some more races
So the question is, what's next?
What's next? Which Shmeemobiles would you like to see run up against each other on the drag strip here? Today, basically, we've been having fun. For sure, you can take a more technical approach. Obviously, there are a lot of people who do professionally race right here. You could completely set everything up, tyres, even fuel, make sure the car's fully prepped and everything. But this is kind of the amateur, come and have some fun, enjoy it, show you what it's like, stack two cars up against one another. And you said may the best man win. Best man, best car, whichever way you want to look at it. Congratulations on your victory,
Thank you.
Brad.
Thank you.
I don't feel too bad because it's still my car that
Exactly.
won today. But that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, guys. A big thanks again to the team here at Santa Pod. This has been amazing. Let's leave it there. Thanks for watching. I will see you again very soon. Cheers.